we're glad that you have committed to help us and to serve and to minister to people who are hurting after the events of the storm that's come through. And so we want to take an opportunity to help you get prepared to serve alongside our Florida Baptist Disaster Relief and other disaster relief groups that you may have opportunity to work with. We're going to look at the process of doing chainsaw work and debris removal and also temporary roofing. Before we do that, I want to cover a couple of preliminary things about safety and about how we operate. We never go onto a homeowner's property until we have proper permission. And so that should have already been taken care of when you go out to work on a property. And your unit leader that you will have been assigned to will have that information, will have that paperwork, and hopefully the homeowner will be there and you will have an opportunity to interact with them some. But we want to work safely, and we want to follow the direction of our unit leader, our blue hats that are trained and prepared to assist you in helping to serve alongside of them. So as we begin our time, we want to talk a little bit about chainsaw work, and particularly the safety aspects of working around chainsaws and working through debris from the storms. And so as we talk about chainsaw safety, we need to talk a little bit about some of the basics of operation that we want to consider. The first thing and the foremost thing in anything that we do is to be safe. That is our first priority, not only for the homeowner and their property, but also for you, the volunteer who's going to be working. And so we want to practice good safety. The first core value of our organization and our response is to be safe and to work safe. And so when we think about that, particularly as it relates to chainsaws, we need to understand a few things. Storm saw work and storm pile debris removal is a little bit different than your average chainsaw work. It's not the same as cutting down a single tree and cutting it up for firewood, or limbs that have fallen off of a single tree. We'll be working with piles of debris that have fallen and are under pressure and stresses. And so the persons who will be operating the saw will be those who have been trained to work in those kinds of situations. Now, it may be possible that you will be asked to run a saw under the direction of your unit leader, the blue hat that you've been assigned to, but only after such time as he's had opportunity to prepare you and to train you to do that. But the one thing that we do want to do is to understand that we want to work in a safe environment for the sake of the operator and for your sake as well. So safety is our first priority. We're going to do what is necessary to work together as a team and a unit to make sure that we're safe. We also want to be aware of our surroundings. That chainsaw operator has their attention and should have their attention squarely on the work that's directly in front of them. So we ask that those who are assisting that chainsaw operator help them in an awareness of surroundings. What is around them, what other equipment may be around them, what dangers or hazards may present themselves. We also want to be aware of where chainsaw operators are in order that no one should get into the area where that chainsaw is being operated and put themselves or the operator in danger. So awareness situational awareness is very important for you as you're assisting and helping that operator, and then for yourself as well, knowing where equipment is located, where operators are, where other people are removing debris. We also strive to not cause any more damage than has already been done. And so the situation will be assessed before any work is performed. And that saw operator, the unit blue hat, will, in relation to one another, in conjunction with one another, assess the site, trees on homes or the potential for trees to fall on homes or other buildings or other property of the homeowner. we just don't want to create and cause further damage. And so before any work is done, all of that will be assessed and will be approached in that manner. And again, we're going to do what the homeowner asks us to do, and that's all we're going to do. We're not going to, we're going to give some suggestions, and we may give, allow the homeowner to process what needs to be done, but ultimately what the homeowner asks is what we'll do. And so follow the direction of your blue hat that you've been assigned to, and because they will be directly in contact with that homeowner and getting that homeowner permission. When working near a chainsaw, again, we want to stay alert. Use common sense when operating a chainsaw. One of the first things that you're going to do and help the operator do is to look at a storm pile and make some assumptions and make some assessment of that pile. How to start approaching and cutting the wood and cutting the trees that are downed, which limbs need to be cut first to prevent further damage and to address the stress points in that storm pile or that tree that may be on a homeowner's property. And so we want to stay alert. We want to use common sense and think through. The most important piece of safety gear that you possess and that we possess are our minds, thinking through and being thoughtful in what we do and being alert. We also want to keep work areas clean. We want to help the saw operator work in an uncluttered environment. So this means helping the saw operator keep the work area around them free from debris. He will help you in terms of knowing when he's ready for debris to be removed, but you should not step in while he's still cutting and to remove limbs out of his way. But when he feels like he needs debris removed, then work with your saw operator and help keep that area uncluttered. Limbs that are fallen, limbs that are already cut, debris that's already cut can become a trip hazard, can become a safety hazard for the operator and for those that are working around him. So we want to try to keep that work area clean and uncluttered as we move forward. Only the saw operator should be in the direct area of the work. That means that we need to pay attention, again, be alert for children or animals or other persons coming into and near the saw operator's work area. We don't need to reach in and remove limbs while a saw is running until that operator has stopped that saw and asked for assistance in that regard. And so we want to stay clear of the work area, stay a safe distance away from the saw operators. We assist them and help them in that, but make sure that we help them to have a safe working environment. And again, staying safe and think safety. Always be thinking about safe working conditions. Again, the most important piece of safety equipment that you have is your mind. And thinking through the aspects of safety, because that is a priority. We don't want to create harm and create unsafe working situations for the operator, for you, for the homeowner, or for others that may be in the area. Some guidelines for safe operations. If safety is our priority, let's think a little bit about safe operations. One is what we call the buddy system, always working in tandem and working in assistance. So that operator needs someone to be there to kind of guard their back, so to speak, to help watch and be alert for things that may come into the area. With a lot of trees down and limbs and debris, sometimes it's difficult to see, especially if a person is running another piece of equipment, a skid steer or a tractor, and we have saws running and tractors running and running into a saw operator's work area. So we need to help the saw operator be alert and be aware of what's around them. And so we practice the buddy system. You're that saw operator's protector in that regard, and you're going to assist them and help them to know what's in the area, who might be in the area, or some dangers, looking for potential hazards that trees may have fallen over and we're not aware of those until we actually get into the pile, and then all of a sudden we have a power line or we have some other kind of danger situation that we discover once we get into the pile. So you helping that saw operator, being alert, and being his partner, being his backup. When we think about, again, safety, there are certain items that we need to think about as well in terms of safety gear. Our saw operators will not operate saws without safety helmets, face guards, ear protection, and ballistic chaps. And so those are the things that particularly the saw operator is going to wear. And if those are available to you and you feel comfortable wearing those and need those, then you can wear those as well. But particularly we want to protect our head, we want to protect our hearing, we want to protect our face, our eyes, and especially we want to protect our limbs, legs and arms from the danger of saws. And so there are over 40,000 injuries a year that are reported by emergency rooms from chainsaw accidents that happen, and we want to protect from that happening. And so we have what we call integrated helmet safety equipment. That means that we have helmets that have a face guard and also hearing protection integrated into the safety helmet. And so the face guard is there to keep limbs and debris from hitting an operator in the face. The ear protection is there to protect the hearing. A chainsaw runs anywhere from 100 to 125 decibels, which is enough to, over a long period of time, damage the hearing of those running the saw or in close proximity to the saw. So if you're not wearing an integrated helmet with the earmuffs included, you may also want to think about wearing ear protection for yourself, either hearing protection or earmuffs that are made available to you. We also want to wear goggles or safety glasses. The face guard on a operator's helmet is not a safety shield. It's simply to keep debris and dust out of the face of the operator. And so we also need safety glasses for projectiles that may come through go through the shield into the eye of the operator or the person who's working very near them. So a good pair of safety glasses are also something that you'll want to consider. Good work gloves so that you don't puncture your hands, cut your hands, because dragging limbs and helping to remove debris. You want a good pair of work gloves. You also want a good pair of sturdy work boots with a good sole that in case you step on sharp debris, nails, tin, other items, glass that may be in that debris pile, or wood that's splintered and has formed sharp points, in order that you protect your feet. You also, the ground will not always be stable and level, particularly if you're walking across debris. You want to be as safe as possible, but you may want to have boots instead of work shoes that give you some support around the ankles and not twist an ankle or damage an ankle. You want work pants, not shorts. T-shirt, short sleeves would be fine. Particularly chaps. Our saw operators all wear chaps, ballistic chaps, so that if that saw does touch a leg or somehow goes against the operator, then that saw can be stopped. And we'll see a short video clip here in a moment. Also, we want to have some way to signal the operator. A loud whistle, if you can whistle, or if you have a whistle, or if there's a whistle provided, be able to use that, and that will be a different sound than the saw, and the operator can hear that sound over and above the saw, and so it means to stop, and it's a way to stop the operator and inform them of something that is a dangerous situation. And so we want to practice good safety, and that begins with wearing the right equipment and being safe. Again, we do not allow operators to work without that safety equipment when operating a saw. for their own protection and for our protection as well. And so practicing good habits and learning to practice good habits with safety equipment is vitally important. Safety gear must be worn when you are standing within 6 feet of a saw of an operator. And so if you are close in proximity to that operator, we do ask that you do wear a hard hat, particularly if the operator is cutting above limbs or debris that is above, what we call a widowmaker that may fall from above and injure you from above. So some kind of hard hat, some kind of hearing protection, and some kind of eye protection are of a necessity when you're working in close proximity to a saw, especially if you're that person who's their backup, who's their buddy that's helping them in being aware, and you're close to that operator when he's operating the saw. Also, we want to be aware of where others are when we're operating around a pile, because there will be several operators working in an area, and we want to make sure that we know where others are cutting. We want to make sure that we know where other volunteers are in terms of removing debris, in order that we can be safe before we throw debris in a particular direction. We want to make sure that we're not throwing it towards an operator or another volunteer who's dragging and helping to remove debris. And so making sure that we are, again, situationally aware of where others are working and the debris piles that they are working on will help us to help each other to be safe in what we do. I want to show you just a moment what it looks like for a saw to hit an operator who's wearing ballistic material. And you'll notice that this is a good sharp saw. It goes through a pretty good sized limb pretty easily. This is a brand new set of chaps that are strapped to the log. These are the ones that are commonly used by our saw operators. Again, the same saw, very sharp, revved at high speed. When it hits the ballistic chaps, this is ballistic fiber that's inside the chaps, and once the saw penetrates that top layer, it pulls that ballistic fiber and it stalls the saw immediately. And notice how it's gummed the saw and will not, and it did not pass through the layer that's next to the skin. Now, there's no guarantee that the saw will not penetrate that inner layer, but at least it will not go all the way through and do harm and damage. There may be getting stitches is a lot better than losing a limb, or possibly even if it cuts an artery, bleeding out severely. And so that's why we mandate that saw operators wear the ballistic chaps and are protected in that way, because it will prevent loss of limbs and severe injury to an operator. All right. We want to move on to the other part of our training that we may be involved in, along with flood recovery that comes with hurricane and chainsaw operation that's created by winds and downed trees. The other thing that the storm will do is damage roofs. So we want to talk a little bit about doing temporary roof repair. You may hear this oftentimes referred to as blue roofs, and that comes because most tarps are blue. There are some different colors, but we still refer to it in that way. And that damage can come where the wind blows the roof up, the shingles are blown away, or it may come after we've had to remove trees from a homeowner's house, and that tree has punctured the roof or done damage to the roof and is necessary to cover that roof so that rain won't get in the house until that homeowner can have their home repaired. And so we want to talk about doing temporary roof repair and what that, how we go about doing that. Again, this comes when shingles are blown off, structural damage, penetration, and the main thing that we're looking for at this point is just simply to provide the homeowner with a dry roof so that their home will not be further damaged with rain that will come until the time in which they can get that roof repaired. And so as we look at that, you notice on the slide that there's an extension ladder that's placed against the roof. Make sure that you have a good sturdy ladder for moving up and down the roof. Make sure that you have good working conditions on the roof, that you're not stepping through holes, and that you know what the roof is like, and as you go up on the roof and prepare to cover that roof. Some people use drill guns, screws. Others use hammers and nails. It really doesn't matter. It's a matter of preference and availability of which one that you choose to use in terms of putting the material on the roof. When we do a roof, we want a good seal. We want a tight roof. We want the tarp or the roofing material. Sometimes it may come in a roll, and we'll cut that to fit the size of the need that we have. But we want a good tight seal on that roof so that homeowner can be assured that the rain is not going to cause further damage on their home. The wind will not pull that up. And so if you'll notice on this slide, there are two different pictures. One, the left-hand side is the finished roof. The right-hand side shows the edge of rolling the roofing material around a furring strip. And you'll notice on the picture that there are 1-inch furring strips that run the vertical along the roof, and that is so that the rain can come down. And the reason that we roll the edges is, again, so that water will shed off of the roof when it rains, and if it rains, and it will not catch and puddle and create a hazard to the roof. And so rolling the edges and then tacking that down, and then once that is pulled tight, then the furring strips can be applied across the top to keep the wind and to keep the roofing material from blowing up in the wind, and it keeps a good steady tight cover over that house until the homeowner can get it repaired. Some things to consider when we're working together, and some considerations as we kind of wind down a little bit here. Crew safety is our primary concern in assessing our situation and making decisions. Again, we're not going to do anything, we're not going to approach a work that is going to put our crew in danger or in jeopardy and in any way create an unsafe working environment. If we are not able, once we look at a home and look at a property and assess that we really don't have the equipment that we need, or the manpower that we need, or the experience that we need to complete a job, then we will not do that job. Your blue hat, your unit leader that you've been assigned to, will not allow you to work on that property, because there is a lot of work to be done in other places. And so we're not going to put any of our crews in danger once we assess that situation. Also, we're going to work within our limitations. It's okay that you may not have as much experience as others do. You may be limited in the things that you know how to do or that you're able to do, and that's perfectly okay. And everyone has something to contribute. Everyone has something of value that they bring. The reason that you're here is because you have a heart to serve and you care about people, and particularly in a time of hurt and a time of need, you want to be part of helping them to get back to some sense of normalcy at some point in their life. and part of that is coming in and assisting them at a time like this. And so we're not going to put you in a situation where you can be injured, and we're not going to allow you to put yourself in a situation where you can be injured. If you're asked to do something and you just really do not think that you can do that, or you don't have the experience, or you feel uncomfortable, please speak up and let your blue hat know that. Let your unit leader know that you've been assigned to. Also, don't attempt to do things that are beyond your experience or beyond your ability to do either, thinking that you have to do that. There are plenty of folks here who can do those things and who are able to do those things and more than willing to step in. Do what you can do within your limitations, within your experience, within your abilities, but also be willing to be stretched a little bit with some assistance and with some help from experienced volunteers that you'll be working alongside of. And so remember, physical, mental, emotional limitations are very important. Don't overlook those. And as you move into working on a homeowner's property and working with your unit, monitor yourself. Be self-aware and manage your experiences, manage your limitations as you strive to help in this situation. And so as we move out to begin to work, again, you will be or have been assigned to a unit leader. That unit leader will help you to meet the opportunities that are provided for us. But our first and primary goal is safety. We're going to do everything that we do within a context of safety, and we're not going to put you, we're not going to put others in further danger or in unsafe working conditions. So follow the direction of your unit leader. Take breaks as you need them. Stay hydrated. Drink plenty of water. If you need to take a break and others are not taking a break, then don't feel bad about that. If you need to sit down and take a break, then please do so. You are the only one that knows your physical limitations, and when you need to take a break, then do that. But drink plenty of water, drink plenty of liquid, stay hydrated, use sunscreen if you're out in the sun particularly a lot, and make sure that you're taking care of yourself physically so that you can work effectively for the homeowner and serve them in this time of perhaps some of them the greatest need that they've ever experienced in their life. And so we're grateful that you're here. We're grateful for your willingness to serve and to join with us in the ministry of bringing help and bringing healing and hope to the people who are hurting. And we want to do so with a Christ-like spirit. We are here to be the hands and feet of the Lord Jesus. We're here to provide comfort. We're here to provide assistance. We're here to provide a positive witness for the Lord Jesus. And so I pray that you will be safe. I pray that you will have a good experience. And in the worst of circumstances for these homeowners, may you be a shining light. May you be a word of encouragement, a word of hope to someone who is hurting at a time of great need. And so we're very grateful and thankful that you've taken the opportunity to join us and be part of the ministry of Florida Baptist Disaster Relief in helping people who are hurting. Thank you.